stretching across the American Southwest, yet so desolate that you can drive for miles without seeing another town on the horizon. This is Arizona, a harsh desert state where the heat is not just a season, but a force constantly shaping the land itself. Summer temperatures here can rise high enough to scorch the ground, drying rivers into cracked valleys and pushing life into strange scenes. Arizona is also where majestic red canyons meet endless desert plains, where abandoned mining towns and hidden narrow canyons hold stories buried beneath the land. In today's video, join us as we explore fascinating facts about Arizona, a land shaped by heat, rock, and the vast silence of the desert. West Fork Oak Creek lies in northern Arizona and is one of the most spectacular slot canyons along the Mogollon Rim. Oak Creek winds through the deep canyon with towering red sandstone walls rising hundreds of feet, where sunlight reaches the canyon floor only at certain times of the day, creating a scene both grand and serene. The cliffs here bear the marks of millions of years of weathering and erosion, with layers of fiery red sandstone carved into arches, narrow corridors, and precariously balanced rock formations high above. In many stretches, the canyon narrows to only a few yards wide, where the emerald green stream winds past dense stands of trees, reflecting the colors of the sky and forest on its glassy surface. The ecosystem along West Fork Oak Creek is remarkably diverse, from ponderosa pine forests atop the rim to maples, cottonwoods, and willows lining the stream banks, creating a ribbon of lush greenery unexpected amid Arizona's arid plateau. In autumn, the foliage turns brilliant gold and deep crimson, contrasting sharply with the red sandstone cliffs, transforming the canyon into a living canvas stretching for miles. Tight bends and shallow stretches of the stream suddenly open onto white sandbars and crystal-clear pools where the sound of rushing water blends with wind echoing off the cliffs, evoking the feeling of exploring a pristine natural labyrinth. Monument Valley lies on the Colorado Plateau, straddling the border between Arizona and Utah, where massive red sandstone formations rise straight from the flat desert floor. Some of these towering beauties reach up to 980 feet, standing alone in the vast expanse like remnants of an ancient, forgotten world. The formations bear evocative names such as West Mitten, East Mitten, and Merrick Butte, each with its own distinctive shape, from giant hands to lonely fortresses amid the desert winds. At sunrise and sunset, sunlight filters through fine desert dust, igniting the entire valley in shades of deep crimson, as the shadows of these colossal monuments stretch for miles across the golden sands. For centuries, Monument Valley has been a sacred land in Navajo culture, tied to countless legends of gods and guardian spirits. Trails crossing the valley once served as hunting routes, trade paths, and connections between native communities, preserving the memory of a civilization deeply intertwined with the wild desert landscape. On moonless nights, a sky filled with stars stretches over the valley as the towering buttes turn into immense black silhouettes against the glowing Milky Way, calling travelers to witness the surreal beauty with their own eyes. Petrified Forest National Park lies in northeastern Arizona, where desert winds sweep across barren plateaus, revealing one of the planet's most extraordinary geological treasures. Covering more than 350 square miles, the park is home to countless fossilized tree trunks over 200 million years old, scattered across the purple, red, and yellow clay of the Triassic period, creating a surreal scene as if stepping into an ancient world. Scientists explain that these trees were once part of vast forests along prehistoric rivers. When buried under layers of mud and volcanic ash, the decaying wood was gradually replaced by quartz and minerals, turning into stone while preserving the grain and growth rings. Each log glitters in the sunlight with shades of purple, green, red, and yellow, as if holding the primordial memories of the earth. Beyond its petrified wood, the Petrified Forest preserves the heritage of the ancestral Puebloan people through petroglyphs and the remains of ancient dwellings along the cliffs. They tell stories of life, spirituality, and human adaptation to this harsh land over millennia. Today, trails lead visitors across the painted desert, where sunsets bathe the entire valley in pink, offering a chance to witness this one-of-a-kind geological wonder. Petrified Forest is where nature, history, and time converge, leaving visitors in awe of the planet's beauty, both majestic and fragile. The Chapel of the Holy Cross stands on the blazing red sandstone cliffs of Sedona, Arizona, where desert and mountains meet beneath the deep blue sky. From afar, the chapel appears to rise straight from the rock itself, with a massive cross reaching toward the heavens, a striking contrast amid the vivid colors of the American Southwest. As the afternoon sun descends, golden light reflects off the glass walls, turning the site into a surreal landmark glowing above the red desert. The chapel was built in the year 1956, designed by architect Marguerite Brunswick Staud, a disciple of Frank Lloyd Wright. Inspired by modern architecture, blended with spiritual elements, the building uses concrete, glass, and steel to merge harmoniously with the surrounding rock. Its minimalist yet powerful design earned numerous architectural awards and became one of Sedona's most iconic landmarks. Inside, the chapel offers a quiet, contemplative space where sunlight filters through the giant cross-shaped window, filling the interior with a serene, sacred atmosphere. Many visitors come not only to pray, but also to witness how architecture and nature unite, creating a spiritual and artistic experience in one. The Chapel of the Holy Cross is recognized as one of Arizona's architectural wonders, and a must-see destination in Sedona. It stands as a testament to the 20th century movement toward designs that harmonize with nature, influencing many modern structures across the United States. Watson Lake lies on the northern edge of the city of Prescott, revealing an almost surreal landscape in the highlands of northern Arizona. Deep blue waters stretch between massive granite formations, where time and weather have carved smooth curves into the rock, creating a natural labyrinth found nowhere else. The lake was formed in the early 20th century after the Watson Dam blocked Granite Creek, but it is the surrounding granite dells that give it its strange beauty. Sheer rock walls, smooth boulders, and balancing stone pillars reflecting in the still waters make visitors feel as if they've stepped into a surreal painting sculpted by nature over millions of years. Watson Lake is also a paradise for outdoor activities. Visitors can kayak through narrow rock channels, hike winding trails across towering granite formations, or climb to high viewpoints overlooking the entire lake and the distant city of Prescott. Each season brings changing colors, from the bright yellow of spring wildflowers to the fiery reds and oranges when sunset lights up the cliffs. Few people know that many migratory birds choose the small rocky islands in the lake as resting spots, turning Watson Lake into a fascinating birdwatching site amid a landscape of nothing but rock and water, evoking the feeling of a separate world hidden within Arizona's arid land. The White Mountains rise with forested peaks soaring over 9,800 feet above sea level. Unlike the arid landscape of much of Arizona, this region enjoys a cool climate year-round, with icy streams, vast meadows, and lakes reflecting the sky. In autumn, maple leaves turn brilliant shades of gold and orange, while in winter, the mountains wear a blanket of snow, transforming the area into a breathtaking natural masterpiece. For centuries, the White Mountains have been home to the Apache people, tied to countless legends about mountain gods and forest guardian spirits. Ancient trails once used for travel and hunting still weave through valleys and forests, preserving traces of a culture deeply connected to the wild landscape. Today, visitors to the White Mountains can hike through dense forests, fish in crystal-clear streams, or enjoy skiing and camping in the winter months. The cool climate and diverse scenery make this region a perfect destination for both adventure seekers and those looking for peace and tranquility. The White Mountains are also home to abundant wildlife, including elk, black bears, and bald eagles. Many areas are strictly protected to maintain the region's pristine ecosystems, making it one of the most biologically rich mountain ranges in Arizona. The Mogollon Rim stretches for more than 186 miles across northern Arizona, marked by towering cliffs rising nearly 2,000 feet, forming a natural boundary between the arid Colorado Plateau and the lush forests to the south. From the rim's edge, the entire landscape unfolds like a giant painting, where pine forests, river valleys, and distant mountain ranges blend beneath the highland sun. The geology here dates back more than 250 million years, with layers of red sandstone, limestone, and shale stacked visibly along the cliffs. Over millions of years of erosion and uplift, the Mogollon Rim became a dramatic boundary where the sudden change in elevation creates a landscape both majestic and unexpected amid Arizona's desert terrain. The ecosystem at the Mogollon Rim is strikingly diverse, from vast ponderosa pine forests along the rim top to grassy valleys and cool streams at the cliff's base. The contrast between the sun-scorched lands to the north and the lush vegetation to the south makes this place feel like a gateway between two completely different worlds, separated only by a few hundred vertical feet. At sunset, the fading light ignites the red sandstone cliffs, while shadows slowly swallow the deep valleys below. This spectacle turns the Mogollon Rim into one of Arizona's most impressive horizons, where rock, forest, and sky come together to paint a surreal masterpiece of the American West. Williams sits on the Coconino Plateau in northern Arizona, surrounded by vast ponderosa pine forests and ancient, long-extinct volcanic peaks. The small town rests at an elevation of more than 6,500 feet, where the cool climate and rugged mountain scenery stand in sharp contrast to the arid deserts stretching across much of Arizona. What makes Williams truly special is the Grand Canyon Railway, which departs from here, carrying visitors across plateaus of petrified lava flows and wide-open grasslands before reaching the rim of the Grand Canyon. Built in the early 20th century, this rail line was once a lifeline connecting isolated regions to the rest of the United States, and still preserves its nostalgic charm with steam locomotives and vintage rail cars. Not only the gateway to the Grand Canyon, Williams is also closely tied to the legendary Route 66, the cross-country highway that symbolizes the American West's pioneering era. Classic diners, neon signs, and souvenir shops along the main street recall the 1950s, when caravans of migrants and tourists streamed across the harsh frontier landscapes. Surrounding the town are mountain lakes such as Kaibab and Cataract, where pine forests reflect on the still waters, creating a serene beauty that contrasts with Williams' vibrant historical legacy. Waterwheel Falls lies near the town of Payson, Arizona, hidden within the Tonto National Forest, where ancient granite cliffs cradle a cold stream flowing through a narrow canyon. The trail to the falls crosses pine forests and scattered boulder fields, revealing a striking contrast between the sun-scorched desert and the clear, rushing waters. The East Verde River creates Waterwheel Falls as it cascades over a series of rock ledges, forming emerald green pools at each tier. The rock surfaces, polished by centuries of flowing water, now glisten under the sunlight, while the surrounding cliffs echo the roar of the falls throughout the canyon. The name Waterwheel comes from a wooden wheel once built here in the early 20th century to support small-scale gold mining. Though the mining structures have long vanished, traces of excavated rock piles remain scattered along the trail, recalling a time when people sought to tame this rugged landscape for survival in the high desert. Today, amid the weathered gray cliffs, the Cascades still pour into deep, hidden pools of clear water. The fall's enduring presence, defying the harsh surrounding climate, turns Waterwheel Falls into a rare oasis where nature preserves its untamed beauty and ancient echoes. Clifton lies along the San Francisco River in southeastern Arizona, where towering red cliffs surround the narrow town, pressed into a deep valley. The isolated terrain gives Clifton the appearance of a man-made oasis in the desert, where rock, water, and mining works blend into a scene both harsh and striking. The town emerged in the late 19th century when massive copper mines in the Mogollon Mountains were developed. Narrow-gauge railroads winding through the canyon, rows of brick buildings, and steel bridges spanning the river transformed Clifton from a remote settlement into one of the most dynamic mining centers in the American Southwest. Workers' housing clung to the hillsides, while mine offices and old mansions stood higher up, reflecting a clear social hierarchy amid the rugged landscape. A highlight of the town was the inclined elevator that once carried miners up and down the deep mountain shafts, an ambitious feat of engineering from the previous century. Alongside it, many aging steel bridges still cross the San Francisco River, linking neighborhoods and preserving the memory of an era of industrial ambition. Amid mining relics and red rock mountains, Clifton feels like a town stepping out of the heavy industrial age, where past and present coexist in a stark yet visually compelling western landscape. Lake Mead stretches between Arizona and Nevada, formed when the Hoover Dam blocked the Colorado River in 1936, creating the largest reservoir in the United States, with a surface area at its peak of more than 247 square miles. In the blazing desert heat, the deep blue waters appear like an inland sea, surrounded by towering red sandstone cliffs and windswept gray mountains. The lake's shoreline is so extensive that it forms hundreds of narrow coves, peninsulas, and flooded canyons where sandstone towers and arches rise from the water, evoking the ruins of a long-submerged ancient world. Seasonal water level changes sometimes expose structures once buried at the lake's bottom, including roads and the foundations of towns abandoned before the dam's construction. Along the lake's edges, sheer rock walls reveal layers of geology stacked over millions of years. When the water recedes, white mineral bands emerge like massive scars circling the lake, marking the ongoing struggle between humans and nature over water in the harsh desert. Amid this surreal landscape, Lake Mead holds countless narrow canyons accessible only by boat, where emerald waters wind through towering rock walls. The interplay of geology, human engineering, and raw wilderness gives the lake a beauty that feels both real and dreamlike at the heart of the American West. The Hualapai Mountains rise in northwestern Arizona, where forested peaks climb more than 7,800 feet above the surrounding desert. The cool air and lush greenery create a natural oasis in stark contrast to the searing heat of the Mojave Desert, making this a favorite retreat from the summer heat. Historically, this mountain range was home to the Hualapai people, whose name means people of the tall pines. They lived by hunting and gathering, and viewed the towering peaks as sacred places, dwelling places of protective spirits. Many of today's trails were once ancient paths linking scattered settlements across the valleys and plateaus. The Hualapai Mountains are also notable for their unusually rich wildlife for Arizona. Ponderosa pine, oak, and cypress forests shelter elk, black bears, and even mountain lions. Several areas are strictly protected for climate research and for monitoring wildlife migration patterns tied to the mountain's precious water sources. Today, visitors to the Hualapai Mountains can camp, hike, or bike through the forests to enjoy the clean mountain air. In winter, snow covers the slopes, creating a scene reminiscent of the Rockies, while in summer, the mountains stay cool and green, a complete contrast to the desert stretching below. Apache Trail winds through the Superstition Mountains in central Arizona, a route once used to transport construction materials for the Roosevelt Dam in the early 20th century. Amid the barren mountains and deep canyons, this nearly 70-kilometer route reveals sharp curves, sheer cliffs, and arid valleys that once seemed impenetrable. The terrain around Apache Trail combines ancient volcanic formations, red sandstone, and black basalt, creating jagged cliffs and deep valleys carved by the colossal hand of time. Many stretches cling tightly to narrow mountain slopes, with sheer rock walls on one side and drops hundreds of feet deep on the other, making every journey here both spectacular and nerve-wracking. Along the route, Canyon Lake and Apache Lake appear like emerald ribbons of water, in stark contrast to the surrounding red rocks. These artificial lakes were formed after dams blocked the Salt River, creating unusual landscapes in the arid land and becoming stops for explorers, photographers, and thrill-seeking travelers. Small towns like Tortilla Flat, with only a few dozen residents, are scattered along the Apache Trail, carrying a wild charm as if forgotten by time. Amid rugged mountains and engineering feats stretching across the harsh desert, Apache Trail evokes the feeling of a journey crossing the boundary between untamed nature and the daring mark of human ambition. Hole in the Rock lies within Papago Park, near the city of Phoenix, as a massive red sandstone formation with a system of natural rock cavities shaped over millions of years of weathering. Its most striking feature is the large arch carved through the mountain's summit, where wind and sand have sculpted a giant window overlooking the arid valley below. The geology here dates back to the Pliocene epoch, when red sedimentary layers were uplifted by tectonic activity and later eroded by rare rains and desert winds, leaving behind strange cavities as if hollowed out from within. Every crack and ridge bears the marks of time, with deep red hues gradually shifting to darker browns as the sunlight changes throughout the day. Ancient records show that pre-Columbian communities once used hole in the rock as a solar marker, when sunlight passing through the arch at specific times of the year helped them track seasonal cycles in the harsh desert. Because of this, the site is not only a geological phenomenon, but also linked to ancient agricultural rhythms and spiritual practices. Today, the trail leading up to the Rock Arch remains simple, just a worn path across smooth red sandstone. From the opening, the entire Phoenix Valley unfolds like a giant map, where traces of nature and humanity converge in a scene both majestic and surreal across the American Southwest. The Salt River flows through central Arizona, cutting across the arid desert with a winding ribbon of water stretching nearly 200 miles before joining the Gila River. Set among towering red sandstone cliffs and cracked dry valleys, the river appears as a rare green lifeline, bringing vitality to this harsh land. The powerful flow of the Salt River has carved spectacular canyons into the Colorado Plateau, with cliffs rising hundreds of feet high, exposing layers of rock that span millions of years of Earth's history. Many stretches of the river form small waterfalls and rapids, creating a dramatic contrast with the slow, meandering sections passing through sandy valleys shaded by riverside vegetation. The construction of the Roosevelt, Mormon Flat, and Granite Reef dams along the Salt River in the 20th century created a chain of large reservoirs such as Roosevelt Lake and Saguaro Lake. These not only provide water and hydroelectric power to Phoenix and surrounding areas, but also form striking semi-desert landscapes where red cliffs are reflected in the deep emerald waters. In summer, when water levels rise, the Salt River becomes a famous route for adventure seekers with activities like whitewater rafting and river tubing. South Mountain stretches along the southern edge of Phoenix, a vast desert range covering more than 25 square miles, blanketed with countless granite, sandstone, and basalt formations stained reddish-brown by Arizona's sun and wind. Its highest point, Dobbins Lookout, rises to 2,329 feet, revealing sweeping views of the Valley of the Sun under the scorching sky. The trails crossing the slopes expose geological layers millions of years old, where tectonic activity lifted ancient rock masses from the earth and left them to be carved by wind, rare rains, and time into countless cracks, arches, and enclosed valleys. Some areas still preserve rock carvings, petroglyphs from the ancient Hohokam people, proof of their deep connection to this mountain range thousands of years ago. In modern times, South Mountain served as the site for observation towers and small military outposts during World War II, thanks to its strategic position overlooking the entire valley. The system of stone-paved roads built by the WPA program in the 1930s still exists, winding across steep slopes and linking the highest points with the Phoenix area below. Amid the arid landscapes of the American Southwest, South Mountain holds a raw beauty mixed with traces of civilization, where ancient geology, archaeological heritage, and modern structures coexist. Tempe Town Lake lies right in the heart of Tempe, where the Salt River had run dry through most of the 20th century. In the late 1990s, a large-scale hydrological project dammed this dry riverbed, creating a man-made lake stretching nearly 3 miles, bringing life back to the desert valley. Surrounded by rows of high-rise buildings and steel bridges, the deep blue waters of Tempe Town Lake reflect the modern urban skyline mixed with the reddish-brown mountains at the valley's edge. The contrast between the still waters and the sun-scorched desert beyond gives the place a surreal look, like a giant mirage in the middle of Arizona's arid heart. This artificial lake not only regulates water flow and prevents flooding, but has also become a hub for recreation, with kayaking, dragon boat racing, and lakeside trails for walkers and cyclists. The Mill Avenue Bridge casts its lights on the water at night, while the inflatable dam system can release or hold back water depending on the season, turning Tempe Town Lake into one of Arizona's most unique hydrological and landscape projects. On the northern shore, remnants of old rail lines and bridge foundations sit among modern parks and plazas, reminding visitors of Tempe's industrial past before the lake came to life. Wickenburg, surrounded by low mountains and dry riverbeds, was once known as the gateway to the Wild West. The arid red soil and towering saguaro cacti give the town a distinctly Arizona character, yet its history is tied to gold-seeking adventures and deep cultural roots. In the year 1862, the Vulture Mine was discovered a few miles from Wickenburg, attracting thousands of miners and adventurers. Remnants of abandoned shafts, wooden hoists, and old stone foundations still lie scattered across the land, recalling the era when Wickenburg was one of Arizona's busiest mining hubs, where ambition and hardship coexisted in every swing of the pickaxe into the desert floor. The town also boasts classic brick architecture, the famous steel Hassayampa Bridge spanning the river, and the legendary story of the Hassayampa itself. Locals claim that anyone who drinks its water will never tell the truth again. This mix of mining reality and folklore gives Wickenburg a blend of history and mystery. Along its main streets, lined with wooden saloons, small museums, and cowboy monuments, Wickenburg preserves the spirit of the Wild West amid a modern setting. The combination of a golden past and the desert's raw beauty makes the town a gateway into the dusty, windswept memories of the old frontier. Green Valley stretches across southern Arizona, nestled between the Sahuarita Mountains and the arid Sonoran Desert. The lush green fields of cotton and pecan trees here create a striking contrast with the sun-scorched, reddish-brown mountains surrounding the town, giving it a look that is both fertile and wild. This area became famous for its massive copper mines operating throughout the 20th century, with the Sahuarita and Mission mines once providing large amounts of minerals for American industry. The deep open pits and abandoned rail lines scattered across the valley remain as legacies of the intense industrial era when humans extracted resources from the heart of the harsh desert. Beyond its mining past, Green Valley is also connected to modern astronomical observation. On nearby Kitt Peak, giant telescopes observe the universe through Arizona's characteristically dry and clear skies, turning this land into a place where probing the Earth and exploring outer space come together. Today, the roads winding through Green Valley still lead travelers across contrasting landscapes. On one side, abandoned mining pits drop deep as though reaching toward the Earth's core, while on the other, endless cotton fields shine under the blazing sun. Kitt Peak National Observatory lies atop Kitt Peak, rising more than 6,500 feet in the Quinlan Mountains southwest of Tucson. In the middle of the arid Sonoran Desert, where city lights nearly disappear, the night sky opens with a rare darkness, turning this mountain into one of the most ideal windows to the universe in North America. The observatory, built in the late 1950s, now houses more than 20 optical and infrared telescopes, including the Mayol telescope with its 13-foot mirror, once the largest telescope in the United States. Each white dome perched on the rugged slopes looks like a scientific outpost on a distant planet, where humanity patiently searches for answers across the vast cosmos. Beyond astronomical research, Kitt Peak was the first site to detect interstellar dust clouds in the Milky Way using advanced spectroscopic techniques. Scientists here also participate in deep sky surveys to hunt for supernovae, dwarf galaxies, and even clues that might reveal the mysteries of dark matter shaping most of the universe. On Kitt Peak, as night falls and dozens of domes swing open toward the stars, the entire mountain transforms into a giant network, listening to the cosmos. Sahuarita lies about 15 miles from Tucson, where the Santa Cruz Valley spreads between the dry Santa Rita and Sahuarita Mountains. On land once settled by indigenous communities and later covered by sprawling cattle ranches, the town carries layers of history blending agriculture, industry, and modern urbanization. The Sahuarita area once thrived on cotton plantations and cattle ranching before copper mining and other mineral extraction expanded southward. Massive copper mines such as the Mission Mine still mark the landscape with deep open pits, standing as reminders of the era of intense industrialization in southern Arizona. Beyond its industrial legacy, Sahuarita is tied to a unique relic of the Cold War, the Titan Missile Museum. Once an intercontinental ballistic missile base armed with nuclear warheads, it now welcomes visitors, with its missile silo and command center preserved nearly intact, evoking the tense atmosphere of a not-so-distant era. Across the arid lands of the Sonoran Desert, the coexistence of artificial lakes, modern neighborhoods, and old military-industrial ruins makes Sahuarita a place of striking contrasts. Here, traces of the past and the rhythm of modern life intertwine amid the harsh yet captivating landscape of the American Southwest. Tucson lies in the arid valley of southern Arizona, where the Santa Catalina and Rincon Mountains surround the city like massive natural walls. From above, the city spreads across the sun-drenched Sonoran Desert, where towering saguaro cacti stand like a silent army guarding this harsh land. Besides being one of Arizona's largest urban centers, Tucson stands out for its diverse natural landscapes. Saguaro National Park and the Tucson Mountain Preserve open winding trails through red rock valleys and plateaus covered with wildflowers in spring, creating a striking contrast with the modern city lying right next door. Street art is part of Tucson's soul, where giant murals stretch across old brick walls. The air often echoes with the sounds of street music, from flamenco guitar rhythms to Latin drum beats, bringing a free-spirited, vibrant atmosphere to this sun-scorched desert city. At night, the sky above the city reveals countless stars, and only a few miles away, the telescopes at Kitt Peak Observatory quietly watch the universe, where nature, science, and urban life blend into a mysterious harmony. Madera Canyon hides on the northeastern slope of the Sahuarita Mountains, about 25 miles south of Tucson. Here unfolds a lush valley rising from the arid desert floor up to nearly 5,000 feet, where Mount Wrightson towers into the sky like a massive natural fortress. The changing climate with elevation creates rare biodiversity in southern Arizona. From cactus and mesquite at the base of the mountains, the landscape quickly shifts to oak, pine, and fir forests at higher altitudes. This transition turns Madera Canyon into a rare green oasis, where cool temperatures and year-round streams stand in complete contrast to the scorching Sonoran Desert below. With more than 250 species of migratory and resident birds, the valley is called the birding capital of Arizona by birdwatchers. Broad-billed hummingbirds, flame-colored tanagers, and even rare owls gather in the dense forests here, making Madera Canyon one of the most famous birding destinations in North America. Winding trails through old-growth forests and rocky streams lead travelers to nature viewing points, where sunset paints the Sahuarita Mountains in magical shades of gold and violet. Arcosanti lies in the desert plateau of central Arizona, envisioned as a city of the future, rising from the sun-baked, windswept land. From afar, its cluster of concrete domes and metal bell towers appears like structures from another planet, contrasting with the reddish-brown mountains surrounding it. The project was initiated in the year 1970 by Italian architect Paolo Soleri, with the philosophy of arcology, the fusion of architecture and ecology. Arcosanti was designed to optimize urban space, save energy, and minimize environmental impact, an idea far ahead of its time when speaking about sustainable cities in the desert. The cast-in-place concrete buildings feature unique geometric forms that capture winter sunlight while providing shade in summer. Many structures are arranged like natural amphitheaters, where winds passing through curved vaults create resonant echoes, turning this settlement into a space of both architecture and music. The strangest highlight of Arcosanti is its famous bronze and ceramic windbell foundry, where each bell carries its own shape and tone, hanging beneath domes and archways. As desert winds sweep through, the sounds ring across concrete walls and the arid sky, creating an atmosphere half futuristic, half mythical for a one-of-a-kind experimental city. Fossil Creek flows along the edge of the Mogollon Rim in central Arizona, where the arid desert gives way to a lush green ribbon stretching more than 15 miles. Amid the sun-scorched, reddish-brown basalt and sandstone cliffs, the crystal-clear stream emerges like a geological paradox, nourishing dense vegetation and countless natural pools. This stream originates from underground springs, gushing nearly 5,000 gallons per minute, with a constant temperature of about 70 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. The high calcium content in the water forms travertine terraces and limestone steps, making each waterfall and turquoise pool at Fossil Creek look like fossilized staircases sculpted over thousands of years. After nearly a century of hydroelectric dam operations, the area was restored to its natural state in the year 2005, when the dams were removed, allowing the original flow to return. This revival quickly turned Fossil Creek into one of only 2 rivers in Arizona designated as a federally protected, wild and scenic river, safeguarding both its ecosystem and landscape. Along the trails, winding through cottonwood and willow forests on both banks, the sound of water cascading over limestone steps echoes beneath Arizona's blazing blue sky. Goldwater Lake lies in the Bradshaw Mountains, surrounded by the green pine and cypress forests of northern Arizona. Amid the state's typical arid landscape, the deep blue lake, covering nearly 25 acres, appears like a silent mirage, where the water reflects the highland sky and the surrounding mountain forests. The lake was created after the dam on Banning Creek was built in the 1920s, forming a reservoir for agriculture and household use in the Prescott area. Over time, however, Goldwater Lake went beyond its original purpose to become one of northern Arizona's most popular outdoor destinations, where visitors come to kayak, fish, and picnic amid the cool mountain forests. What makes Goldwater Lake unique is the sudden transition from the semi-arid climate of Prescott Valley to a green space with dense pine forests just a few miles away. The combination of an artificial lake, mountain vegetation, and trails along the shore creates a landscape that feels more like the Pacific Northwest than the familiar arid Arizona. On the granite outcrops along the lake, one can still spot bald eagles soaring above, their shadows gliding over the calm waters beneath the clear sky. The blend of natural beauty, mild climate, and peaceful atmosphere makes Goldwater Lake a rare oasis in the sun-baked lands of Arizona. Mingus Mountain rises nearly 8,000 feet in the Black Hills, separating the arid Verde Valley from the lush Prescott Plateau. From its steep slopes, the landscape stretches out like a giant natural map, where the reddish-brown desert gradually gives way to the deep green forests of northern Arizona. The high elevation and mild climate turn Mingus Mountain into an ecological oasis amid the semi-arid lands. Ponderosa pines, Douglas firs, and white birches cover the slopes, creating a diverse ecosystem where mule deer, black bears, and bald eagles find shelter. In summer, wildflowers bloom across the mountain meadows, a sharp contrast to the scorching heat of the Verde Valley below. One of the most remarkable experiences on Mingus Mountain is the Jerome Prescott Trail, winding through high passes and dense pine forests. Several viewpoints open to sweeping panoramas over the town of Jerome, clinging to the mountainside and beyond the red rock expanse of Sedona, offering some of the most breathtaking vistas in northern Arizona. The summit is also famous for its paragliding and powered hang gliding launch sites, where adventurers leap off sheer cliffs, circle in the warm winds, and slowly descend into the distant valley below. The blend of dramatic scenery, cool climate, and thrilling activities gives Mingus Mountain the allure of a world apart in the heart of Arizona's arid land. Located on the Bradshaw Plateau, just a few miles from the town of Prescott, Lynx Lake unfolds like a deep blue mirror amid dense pine and cypress forests. At an elevation of over 5,600 feet, its still waters reflect the solemn peaks and the clear highland sky, creating a scene in sharp contrast to the arid red landscapes of southern Arizona. Beyond its natural beauty, Lynx Lake stands out for its trail system, encircling more than 2.5 miles, where visitors can walk, bike, or ride horses along the shoreline. In autumn, the golden leaves of the birch trees along the lake drift down to the water like a glowing carpet, while in spring, wildflowers bloom across the hillsides, turning the scenery into a ribbon of unexpected color in this semi-arid land. The lake is also home to many migratory birds, such as bald eagles and great blue herons, along with beaver colonies building wooden dams along the small creeks feeding into the lake. Beneath the clear waters, rainbow trout and largemouth bass are regularly stocked, making Lynx Lake a prime fishing destination for both locals and travelers alike. On the northern shore, the campground lies beneath whispering pines, where nighttime brings cooler temperatures. The highland sky opens to thousands of stars, and the lake quietly reflects their twinkling light across its dark blue surface. Montezuma Castle National Monument hides on a sheer limestone cliff rising more than 100 feet, overlooking the deep green Verde River winding through northern Arizona. Amid the arid landscape and sun-baked cliffs, the five-story structure with over 20 small rooms tucked into the rock face gives visitors the feeling of stepping into a labyrinth suspended between the sky and the desert. This site was built by the ancient Sinagua people around the 12th to 14th centuries using limestone and cypress wood gathered from the surrounding valley. Its lofty location protected inhabitants from seasonal floods and provided a strategic view over the Verde Valley. The multi-story architecture, with rooms connected by wooden ladders, reveals a high level of social organization and building techniques perfectly adapted to the harsh conditions of the Southwest. More than just a dwelling place, Montezuma Castle sat near ancient trade routes linking the Colorado Plateau to the Sonoran Desert. Artifacts such as pottery, stone tools, and even marine shell beads suggest a wide network of commerce maintained by the Sinagua people for centuries before they abandoned the area in the late 15th century. Within the shadows of the stone rooms, soot stains from ancient hearths remain, allowing visitors to sense the life of a community that thrived here hundreds of years ago. The structure clinging to the cliff still defies time, evoking mystery about why they left and the fate of a once prosperous culture in this harsh valley. Montezuma Well opens in the earth like a giant mouth with a diameter of more than 360 feet, lying just a few miles north of Montezuma Castle. Mineral-rich groundwater continuously gushes out over 1.3 million gallons each day from deep limestone layers underground, maintaining an almost constant temperature year-round. Strangely, the high concentration of carbon dioxide prevents fish from living here. Yet tiny microorganisms and an endemic snail species found nowhere else thrive, turning Montezuma Well into a natural experiment in evolution and adaptation. On the cliffs surrounding the well, the ancient Sinagua people built stone structures between the 11th and 14th centuries. They also dug irrigation canals leading water out of the well to farmlands along the Verde Valley, and part of this system still functions even today. The combination of natural hydrology and ancient engineering demonstrates the remarkable adaptability of pre-Columbian inhabitants to this harsh environment. Standing on the rim of the well and looking down at the still green water, one cannot escape the feeling that this place preserves layers of memory. From volcanic activity millions of years ago to the stories of an ancient community, all enclosed within this strange circular hole in the middle of the Arizona desert. Parker lies on the western edge of Arizona, where the arid Mojave Desert meets the mighty flow of the Colorado River. Amid the barren gray mountains and sun-scorched sand dunes, the appearance of a deep blue waterway makes the town feel like a lonely oasis, creating a powerful contrast between harshness and vitality. This small town has long been tied to the image of the hot and dry Southwest, where residents draw water from the Colorado River to irrigate the fields and orchards that stretch along its banks. The green of the crops, spreading across the red sands, gives Parker a landscape both natural and marked by humanity's power to transform a seemingly unyielding land. Outdoor activities are an inseparable part of Parker. Along the riverbanks, boat docks and sandy beaches become gathering spots for those who love kayaking, water skiing, and swimming under the blazing desert sun. On land, dusty desert trails cutting through the Mojave offer off-road driving adventures that are both harsh and captivating. Under the clear sky of the southwest, the town stands as a bridge between harsh nature and modern life, where people and the river together shape a unique identity that cannot be mistaken for anywhere else. Tuzigoot National Monument rises on a steep hilltop along the Verde River in northern Arizona, where reddish-brown limestone walls curve along the ridge to form a structure like a massive ancient fortress. From afar, the site stands out in the arid valley as the remnant of a civilization that once dominated this land, now ruled only by wind and sun. The settlement was built by the Sinagua people around the 11th to 14th centuries, covering nearly 8 acres with more than 100 interconnected rooms sprawling across the hillside. Multi-story stone houses were constructed with local sandstone and limestone, featuring flat roofs, thick walls, and narrow passageways linked by wooden ladders. The elevated position allowed inhabitants to control the vast Verde Valley below while avoiding floods and wild animals. Excavations have uncovered artifacts such as painted pottery, shell bracelets, and stone tools, showing that Tuzigoot was once a bustling trade center. Ancient trails connected this settlement to the Colorado Plateau and even farther to the Sea of Cortez, revealing the wide commercial network maintained by the Sinagua before they left in the late 15th century. Amid the remaining stone walls, winds whistle through the narrow corridors, carrying the echoes of the past. From the summit of Tuzigoot, the Arizona landscape unfolds with mountains, rivers, and sun-scorched plains, evoking the feeling of standing at the crossroads of time, nature, and a long-vanished civilization. The Verde River flows for more than 170 miles through northern and central Arizona, carving out a rare green ribbon across the semi-arid land. Starting from the Mogollon Rim Mountains, the river winds through red rock canyons, cottonwood forests, and sun-scorched grasslands before joining the Salt River near Phoenix. Amid the harsh desert landscape, the Verde River appears as a green thread connecting ecosystems that seem impossible to coexist. Along its course, the Verde River nourishes some of Arizona's few remaining wetlands, where migratory birds, beavers, and even river otters, once absent, have now returned. Water from the Verde also supports agricultural communities and small towns along the Verde Valley, where vineyards, walnut groves, and green farms thrive right on the riverbanks. What makes the Verde River truly special are its nearly untouched wild segments, designated as a federal wild and scenic river. In the winding stretches passing through basalt and sandstone cliffs, visitors can kayak or raft through landscapes where hawks soar overhead and dense willow forests line both shores. As the sun sets, golden light spreads across the rushing waters, reflecting the distant mountain ranges surrounding the valley. The Verde River carries a beauty both harsh and full of life, a testament to nature's remarkable resilience in the arid Southwest. Not far from the city of Flagstaff, Sunset Crater rises like a great scar upon the Arizona landscape, a place where the Earth once erupted to reshape itself. About 1,000 years ago, magma surged from deep within the planet, tearing open a massive volcanic vent. Thick black lava poured forth, burying forests and valleys, creating a landscape that time itself has not erased. The volcano, standing nearly 1,000 yards tall, is proof of the planet's fierce vitality. From the ashes emerged layers of basalt, cinder, and red soil, arranged like pages in the chronicle of fire. Beneath the surface, the ground still holds warmth, a reminder that the Earth's energy never disappears. It merely sleeps. For the Sinagua people, this was not a mark of destruction, but a beginning. After the eruption, they moved to new lands, using the fertile volcanic ash to cultivate crops. To them, the volcano symbolized rebirth. Fire destroys, yet also prepares the way for life to return, stronger than before. Today, Sunset Crater remains an open doorway into the planet's past. It is not merely a geological monument, but a message from the Earth itself. Even in its explosions, nature is still creating life, not ending it. Stretching across more than 4 million acres, Tonto National Forest is where desert and mountain woods converge in a rare harmony. From the Superstition Mountains to the Salt River Valley, this land is a portrait of contrast, between dry and damp, between fiery red rock and emerald water. Each layer of terrain feels like a separate breath of Arizona, a place where forests don't just grow, but coexist with time itself. This is one of the most diverse national forests in the United States, where giant saguaro cacti stand beside ponderosa pines, and where the Salt River winds through deep canyons to form an ecosystem both harsh and abundant. Trails cross rugged cliffs leading to man-made lakes such as Roosevelt and Canyon, where water is stored, not just to nourish the land, but to sustain the life of an entire region. For centuries, the Apache people have regarded Tonto as sacred ground. They believed spirits dwell in every rock and hill, that the forest protects not only the body but the memory of their ancestors. Even today, their presence endures through petroglyphs and ancient trails etched into stone. Tonto National Forest is not easy to reach, yet its very harshness is what makes it eternal. It is a forest of balance, where water does not extinguish fire, but together they create life. Saguaro National Park lies on the edge of Tucson, where the vast Sonoran Desert stretches endlessly. In this arid land, giant saguaro cacti rise like living monuments, towering over 40 feet high and surviving for more than 2 centuries. They are not merely plants. They are the shape of time itself, slow and steadfast, existing by the desert's own rhythm. Each saguaro is a world of its own. Its ribbed body stores water within layered tissues, swelling after each rain and contracting when the earth dries. On its trunk, woodpeckers, elf owls, and hundreds of insects find their home. For the Tohono O'odham people, the saguaro is not a plant, but a person. In their stories, these towering cacti are ancestors transformed, watching over their descendants and greeting them with arms lifted toward the heavens. When the fruit ripens, they harvest it to brew a fermented wine, a sacred ritual that unites humans with the spirit of the desert. Saguaro National Park protects more than a species. It preserves a philosophy of life, one of patience, adaptation, and respect. In the harshest of places, life does not vanish. It simply changes form to endure forever. Bisbee rests within the Mule Mountains of southern Arizona, a place where the ground was once split open to unearth copper, gold, and silver. In the late 19th century, when miners arrived, they sought treasure but unknowingly built a one-of-a-kind town within a stony valley. From then on, Bisbee became one of America's greatest mining centers, a place where the earth both sustained and tested humankind. The town climbs along the mountain slopes, with wooden houses, stairways, and narrow alleys woven together like threads of memory. Miles of tunnels still wind deep below, silent but not dead. They tell the story of thousands who lived, worked, and vanished, along with the echo of hammers and the scent of ore. When the mines closed, Bisbee did not fade. Artists, poets, and dreamers arrived, transforming a town once alive with machinery into one alive with ideas. The old houses became galleries, cafes, and studios. The past was not erased. It was reborn in the form of creativity. Bisbee stands as proof that life does not belong only to the surface. From deep underground, people unearthed not only minerals, but their instinct for renewal. A town born from copper dust now lives on memory, enduring, beautiful, and unlike any other. Kingman rests between the Mojave Desert and the Arizona Plateau, a place where the roads of history intersect. The town was born alongside the Santa Fe Railway in the late 19th century, beginning as a technical stop for freight trains. But that very position transformed Kingman into a gateway linking the untamed West with the modern world. When Route 66 was built, Kingman became a vital stop along the Mother Road, the symbol of movement and freedom. Thousands passed through here, chasing dreams of the promised land to the west. Every rolling wheel carried a fragment of America's memory, and Kingman became the quiet keeper of that spirit, not loud, just enduring. Today, traces of the past still linger in old neon signs, the vintage train depot, and roadside diners. They are not displayed as relics, but live within the town's daily rhythm. For the people of Kingman, history is not something to tell. It is something they continue to write every single day. Kingman is not a dazzling destination, but a pause that teaches the meaning of a journey. It stands as the thread between motion and stillness, a reminder that sometimes the center of history is not the destination, but the place where travelers stop to breathe. In southeastern Arizona, Chiricahua National Monument rises like a fossilized city. Thousands of sandstone columns reach skyward, formed from the cooled lava of an ancient eruption nearly 27 million years ago. Time, wind, and water together sculpted this labyrinth of stone, a silent yet vivid kingdom where each pillar seems to carry its own soul. The Chiricahua Apache once called this place the land of the standing rocks. They believed these pillars were the spirits of their ancestors, guardians of the mountains, and keepers of nature's balance. For them, this was not merely a refuge, but a sacred ground, where humans learned to respect the power of earth and fire. Throughout the 19th century, Chiricahua also marked the final stronghold of a native era. Here, Apache warriors once hid among the stone forests, using the rugged terrain to resist the U.S. Army. Each canyon and cliff still echoes the story of their endurance. Today, Chiricahua is more than a geological park. It is a witness to life and resilience. The standing stones remain motionless, yet within that silence lies the symphony of millions of years, a place where the earth speaks through form, without the need for words. At the southern tip of Arizona, the Organ Pipe Cactus Wilderness reveals the true soul of the Sonoran Desert. Here, thousands of organ pipe cacti rise from the earth, their tall, branching arms reaching toward the sky like living sculptures. They do not stand alone, but gather together, forming a strange forest, one made of sand, stone, and endurance. This species exists naturally only along the borderlands between the United States and Mexico, where the soil is warm enough, the rain scarce enough, and life must measure every drop. Their structure is a masterpiece of adaptation. Hollow stems store water, spines reflect heat, and wide roots drink from rare desert dew. Beneath the stillness, the forest moves in a rhythm, slow, deliberate, and exact. For the Tohono O'odham people, this land has long been sacred. They use the cactus fruit for food, its sap for healing, and see in every plant a symbol of steadfastness. To them, life does not need abundance, only faith and time. The organ pipe, cactus wilderness, is not just a sanctuary of biology, but a lesson in resilience. Here, each stem and each grain of sand tells the same story, that even in solitude, there is connection, and even in hardship, there is gratitude. Payson lies at the heart of Arizona, where the Mogollon Rim cuts across the state like an ancient scar upon the earth. It is where the dry desert transforms into forests of pine and red rock, a natural borderland between two worlds. This small town was once called the heart of Arizona, not just for its geography, but because it holds the untamed spirit of the American West. Since the late 19th century, Payson has been known as a gathering place for cowhands and hunters. In the year 1884, it hosted one of the first rodeos in the United States, an event still celebrated annually. A reminder that the cowboy spirit never faded. In Payson, history isn't written in books. It lives in the people's gait and in the tone of their voices. Mountains surround the town, carved with trails once walked by the Apache. They saw the Mogollon Rim as the boundary between the physical world and the spiritual one, where gods dwell within stone and ancient trees. Though time has brought modern life here, reverence for nature remains deeply rooted. Payson does not seek to grow large. It exists as the steady breath of the land, a place where people pause, listen, and realize that within those silent layers of stone, millions of years of history are quietly watching back. Walnut Canyon National Monument sits at an elevation of more than 6,600 feet near the city of Flagstaff, where a canyon nearly 400 feet deep winds across the Colorado Plateau. From the rim looking down, the layered rock walls unfold like pages of a giant geological book, while the small stream at the bottom brings a rare touch of green to the arid landscape. On these steep cliffs, the ancient Sinagua people, around the 12th to 13th centuries, skillfully built more than 80 stone and mud dwellings inside natural alcoves. These multi-room structures clung to the canyon walls, connected by narrow paths, using the shade and the water source below, while avoiding predators and invaders from the plateau above. Archaeology shows that Walnut Canyon's inhabitants combined farming with hunting and gathering. They grew corn, squash, and beans on small plots along the canyon edges, while seasonal water below nourished medicinal plants and wild fruit trees. Pottery shards, stone tools, and woven fabric fragments reveal a thriving community that lasted for centuries before leaving the area in the late 13th century. Today, the remaining stone walls on the cliffs seem to echo the footsteps of the past. Amid the harsh Colorado Plateau, Walnut Canyon offers a rare glimpse into how ancient people adapted to nature and left a lasting mark on the silent limestone. Wupatki National Monument lies on the arid Colorado Plateau, where the red brick ruins of the ancient Pueblo people rise against the dark basalt soil left behind by the Sunset Crater volcano. The stark setting gives the abandoned village a mysterious aura, as if frozen in time amid the desert winds for centuries. Built in the 12th century, the multi-story complexes were constructed with stacked sandstone blocks, connected by inner courtyards and narrow stone passageways. The straight walls, small doorways, and wide plazas with ceremonial ball courts evoke the image of a once thriving community that mastered sustainable living in this harsh landscape. Remains of water channels and reservoirs found around the settlement prove that its inhabitants captured every scarce rainfall to sustain agriculture and daily life. Fragments of painted pottery, polished stone tools, and seashells brought from distant coasts reveal that Wupatki once stood within a vast trade network stretching across the American Southwest, where goods and culture flowed along ancient routes. At sunset, golden light washes over the weathered red walls, highlighting lines that have withstood centuries of wind and sand. The silent village, glowing in the fading sun, seems to guard the secrets of its long-vanished prosperity, leaving visitors with a sense of both wonder and reverence. Tombstone lies in southern Arizona, standing out amid the arid desert with its dusty red streets and old wooden buildings. The town once thrived at the heart of the late 19th century silver boom, drawing thousands of miners, merchants, and entertainers who transformed the remote frontier into a bustling town in just a few short years. Tombstone's prosperity brought elegant hotels, grand theaters, and even a modern water system, a rarity for western frontier towns of that era. The famous Birdcage Theater hosted continuous performances for years, while the Tombstone Epitaph newspaper, founded in 1880, still operates today as a witness to the town's golden age. The dry, hot climate and mineral-rich soil made Tombstone both challenging and alluring for those seeking opportunity on the harsh frontier. The blend of brick and wood architecture, together with the dusty streets, created a unique landscape where Native American culture, Mexican heritage, and European influence intertwined in every surviving detail. Today, along Allen Street, old saloons, red brick hotels, and rusted iron signs stand silent beneath the desert sun. Everything seems frozen between past and present, giving Tombstone the character of a living museum of the Wild West, once filled with ambition, silver, and dreams that never fully took shape. Bullhead City sits along the Colorado River in northwestern Arizona, facing the city of Laughlin, Nevada, across a narrow bridge. The presence of the deep blue river in the middle of the blazing desert creates a striking contrast where water and rock coexist in a landscape that seems impossible to reconcile. This area was once home to the ancient Mojave community, who relied on the Colorado River's waters to develop agriculture and trade in the arid region. Later, the completion of Davis Dam in 1951 created Lake Mojave just north of the city, turning it into a vital center for hydroelectric power and water supply for Arizona, Nevada, and California. Bullhead City also carries the legacy of the Western expansion routes, having served as an important stop on the journey to Arizona's gold mines and mining camps. Remnants of old ferries, docks, and trade routes still lie scattered along the riverbanks, recalling a time when wooden boats and horse-drawn wagons connected the wild banks of the Colorado. Amid this harsh landscape, the Colorado River and Lake Mojave form green riverbank oases rare in the desert. The contrast between the arid climate, sun-scorched red cliffs, and cool waters gives Bullhead City a beauty both natural and engineered, like a gateway to the turbulent history of the American West. The Arizona Museum of Natural History is located in the city of Mesa, opening a journey through millions of years of natural history in the American Southwest. Inside this modern architectural building, visitors step into a space where dinosaur fossils, glittering minerals, and ancient sites converge, creating a vivid picture of Arizona's distant past. The museum is famous for its rich dinosaur collection, including fully reconstructed fossil skeletons at life-size scale. The roaring sounds from moving dinosaur models make visitors feel as if they have traveled back to the Cretaceous period, when these giant creatures ruled the land millions of years ago. Beyond dinosaurs, the museum recreates ancient cultures such as the Hohokam, an ancestral Puebloan, through pottery, stone tools, and earthen house models. Their stories of life, beliefs, and canal-building techniques help visitors better understand how people adapted to the harsh desert environment. Another highlight is the outdoor gold panning area, where both children and adults can try their hand at gold mining in a man-made stream, recalling the gold rush era that once shook the American Southwest. Mystery Castle stands on the slopes of South Mountain, south of Phoenix, as a unique structure with strange architecture in the middle of the arid desert. The castle was built from stone, leftover bricks, and recycled materials, assembled into 18 rooms, 13 fireplaces, and countless winding hallways like a labyrinth. It was built in the 1930s when Boyce Luther Gully, after leaving his family because of a serious illness, secretly constructed the castle as a gift for his young daughter, Mary Lou. He used a special technique called mortarless, mixing mud and cement to bind stone and brick, creating rough walls that were surprisingly strong. Inside the castle, each room is decorated with unusual materials collected from everywhere. Wagon wheels, wooden doors from abandoned buildings, even glass bottles turned into colorful windows. Spiral staircases and balconies overlooking the Phoenix Valley give the place a raw yet surreal feeling, as if it belonged to another world. What makes Mystery Castle truly mysterious is that Gully passed away before revealing all the secrets of the building. Many wall cavities and hidden spaces remain unexplored, turning this desert castle into a symbol of creativity, obsession, and love, embedded in one of Arizona's strangest architectural works. Sears Cay ruins lie on a granite hillside in the Tonto Mountains, northeast of Phoenix. From above, the crumbling stone walls stretch out like traces of an ancient fortress, overlooking the dry Sonoran Valley below, where desert and cactus forests blend into the sun-scorched horizon. This site was once a fortified Hohokam village, built in the late 14th century with more than 40 living rooms and storage areas connected by narrow passageways and shared courtyards. The dry stone construction, with rocks tightly fitted together without mortar, reveals building techniques adapted to harsh conditions, resisting wind and sand while using the steep, natural terrain to watch over a vast region. Artifacts found at Sears Cay include pottery shards, stone tools, and cremation remains, painting a picture of a community that was both agricultural and defensive. Its strategic position on the mountainside allowed residents to control trade routes through the valley while defending against threats from other nomadic groups during the final stage of the Hohokam culture. Walking along the low walls that remain, one can still feel the breath of history, carried by the wind through the rocky gaps. The entire site stands as a forgotten map of time, where traces of ancient architecture merge with the reddish-gray tones of Arizona's rugged hills. Casa Grande Ruins National Monument stands in the dry valley of the Gila River in southern Arizona, dominated by a 4-story structure of reddish-brown clay rising above the desert like a silent witness to a vanished civilization. When the Spanish arrived here in the 17th century, they named it the Big House for its impressive size amid this barren land. The structure is believed to have been built by the Hohokam people around the 13th to 14th centuries, using a sophisticated earthen construction technique that allowed its thick walls to withstand centuries of wind, sand, and rare desert rains. No one knows the original purpose of Casa Grande, a defensive fort, a ceremonial center, or perhaps an astronomical observatory, as the wall openings appear aligned with the positions of the sun and moon at certain times of the year. Around the site, traces of a canal network stretching for dozens of miles reveal how the Hohokam transformed this harsh desert into a complex agricultural center where corn, beans, and cotton were grown using scarce water from the Gila River. The sudden disappearance of this culture in the 15th century adds to the mystery of Casa Grande. Amid the silent desert of Arizona, this massive clay structure feels like a doorway to a time when humans and nature coexisted in a bond both strong and fragile, leaving unanswered questions about the fate of an entire civilization. Organ Pipe Cactus National Monument stretches across the southernmost tip of Arizona, where the harsh Sonoran Desert meets the Mexican border. Here, clusters of organ pipe cacti rise straight into the sky like giant green cathedral pipes, creating a surreal landscape rarely seen even in North American deserts. This unique cactus species grows only in the special hot and humid region of the Sonoran Desert, where daytime temperatures can exceed 113 degrees Fahrenheit but drop sharply at night, combined with rare summer monsoon rains. Each plant can live for more than 150 years, blooming white flowers at night to attract pollinating bats, a remarkable ecological bond between desert plants and wildlife. Beyond its unusual vegetation, the monument also preserves ancient volcanic ranges, sandy valleys, and basalt caves eroded into strange shapes. Numerous trails lead deep into the Apache Mountains, where bright red canyons open among dense cactus groves, creating a scene like stepping onto a distant planet filled with spines and scorching sunlight. When desert winds pass through clusters of organ pipe cacti, nearly 26 feet tall, the rustling sound echoes through the barren valley like the music of an invisible orchestra.